The mobile gaming world is brutal. 1,000 dreams launch every week, but only a handful survive. We are talking about massive titles, huge IPs, and games with insane budgets that for one reason or another got completely torpedoed right out of the gate. So get your tissues and your pity claps ready. This is the Graveyard of Dreams, 10 failed mobile games that died immediately at launch. This is Jasper, and make sure you are already subscribed. Alright then, let's begin.
Sua, it's time to pull this string.
Kicking off at number 10 is Black Beacon. This one is a textbook case of how to ruin your game through absolutely shocking global communication and unequal treatment. This was a sci-fi RPG that was supposed to be a big deal, but when it launched, the global servers were a big ridden mess. Performance was awful, logins were broken, and emulators, a necessary evil for many action RPGs on mobile, were actively blocked. But here is the kicker. The Chinese servers launched later had far fewer issues and got substantially better compensation, including a free 5-star character. Global players got codes that expired before they could even log in. It was a massive slap in the face. The trust was gone. Less than a year later, the developers laid off 90% of the team, and the game was completely shut down. Lesson learned? Don't treat your global audience like second-class citizens. So, Black Beacon had its global launch on April 10, 2025, and it is shutting down its servers on December 31st, 2025, less than a year after launch. At number 9, we have Terry's Land. Now, looking at this game, it's pretty clear who they were trying to copy: World of Warcraft. It had that classic MMORPG feel, raids, and a charming, colorful world. So why did it sink? It was just too generic. In a mobile market saturated with great MMORPGs, being a good but not great World of Warcraft clone wasn't enough. Critics praised the visuals and the simplified combat for mobile, but the story was unmemorable and the NPCs were completely blonde. It didn't offer a single killer feature to make players drop their current game like Genshin Impact or Tower of Fantasy. It was perfectly fine, and in mobile gaming, perfectly fine is a death sentence. Well, Terry's Land had its global launch on June 21st, 2025 for PC and mobile, and it is officially shut down its servers on November 4, 2025, less than 2 years after its launch. Coming in at number 8, Abyss of Dungeon. This one is a little less about the game's core design and a lot more about basic technical incompetence. The developers, Krafton, are known for huge hits like PUBG, so expectations were high. But on launch, the game was a technical disaster. Crashes, connection failures, freezing menus, it was nearly unplayable for a massive chunk of the player base. When your official support page is almost entirely dedicated to troubleshooting steps like clear your cache or reinstall the app, you know you have got a problem. The foundation was so broken that the game couldn't get off the ground, leaving behind a user base of frustrated gamers just starting at a loading screen. Well, Abyss of Dungeons, formerly Dark and Darker Mobile, had a phased release, starting with a soft launch in the US and Canada on February 5, 2025, followed by expansion to other regions like Indonesia and Thailand in June 2025, and it is shutting down with the final server closure set for January 20, 2026. Number 7, Goddess Order. Well, this is one of the quickest collabs on my list. This retro-style pixel art action RPG had serious style and fun, flashy combat. People were digging it. But just 1 month after its global launch, publisher Kakao Games announced they were halting all new content. Not a slowdown, not a delay, a complete halt. Why? The development studio Pixel Tribe had run into serious financial and operational difficulties. They couldn't afford to keep the lights on, let alone pay for future updates. A promising game was instantly crippled by a business model that was clearly unsustainable, providing that sometimes even a good game can't save a studio with bad budgeting. The game was released globally on September 24, 2025 and ending service just 1 month after its global launch in late 2025. At 6, we have Squad Busters. This one hurts cause it's Supercell, the kings of mobile like Clash of Clans and Brawl Stars. This was supposed to be their next global monster. It featured characters from all their games in fast-paced multiplayer battle. But during its extended soft launch, it faced major issues. The core problem, it wasn't sticky. Players were only downloading it for the free skins it gave them in Brawl Stars or Clash Royale, then they would quit. Supercell knew they had a problem, so they did a massive rework, a 2.0 update that changed almost every major system, alienating the few players who did enjoy the original version. The player base was so small that a top 200 player was playing only 20 minutes a day. So Supercell ultimately decided the game was beyond saving, and despite being playable for a while longer, development officially ceased. Squad Busters had its global release on May 29, 2024 and with a final content update in December 2025 and the servers expected to shut down sometime in 2026. Sliding into number 5 is Tribe 9. It's an action RPG backed by Kazutaka Kodaka, the creator of Danganronpa. It had an awesome Neo-Tokyo setting, cool character designs, and hit 10 million downloads in less than a month. So where's the body? The developers admitted that the number of new players and item sales substantially fell below initial projections. They had a team of 300 people working on it, and the game simply couldn't sustain that level of development. It was an expensive, overproduced failure. To make matters worse, they had to cancel the rest of the game's story and release the remaining content as text on their official website. Imagine following a show only for the final season to be cancelled and posted as a PDF. Well, the game was released globally on February 20, 2025 and officially shut down its servers on November 27, 2025, less than a year after its launch. Well, at number 4, Grand Saga. This game reportedly had a development cost of $25 million, a huge figure for a mobile MMORPG. It had a star-studded soundtrack and was a massive hit in South Korea. Then came the global launch. The huge budget wasn't enough. The game struggled with a litany of sins, like poor optimization, making phones overheat, expensive microtransactions, and overly automated gameplay that left players feeling bored. The most demanding stat, the game peaked at just 547 concurrent players on PC. For a massive MMORPG, that's not even a party. So, just 4 months after its global release, Grand Saga shut down, a 25 million tombstone. Well, Grand Saga's global launch was October 30, 2024 for early access on mobile and PC, but unfortunately, the global service was shut down on April 30, 2025. And folks, now it is time, smash that subscribe button and discover amazing games. Number 3 goes to Sword Art Online Variant Showdown, a game launched to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the hugely popular SAO franchise. This should have been a guaranteed hit, right? It was an action RPG, but players immediately found it was trying to do too much. It was unwelcoming to new players, had terrible optimization even on the newest phones, and suffered from generic gameplay. But most fatally, the developers failed to generate hype. Some critics pointed out they didn't even properly announce the global launch. It's the game equivalent of hosting a party and forgetting to send out the invitations. It struggled from day one and was officially shut down less than 3 years later. Sword Art Online Variant Showdown officially ended its service on October 30, 2025 after its initial launch in November 2022 and major re-release in December 2024. However, a memorial edition offline version with preserved data is planned.
Now we take you to one of the most high-tech sports arenas in the galaxy.
At number 2, we have Star Wars Hunters. A Star Wars arena shooter should be an instant win, right? Well, this game was announced in 2021 with a huge trailer, but then delay after delay after delay. The game finally launched globally in 2024, years behind schedule and after a series of limited soft launches. The turbulent development clearly took its toll. Despite the IP, the game failed to capture an audience. Maybe the excitement had just bled out over years of waiting, or maybe the gameplay just wasn't compelling enough. Whatever the reason, Zynga announced the game would be shutting down less than a year after its global release. The force was not with this one. So, Star Wars Hunters officially shut down on October 1st, 2025. Call of Duty Warzone Mobile at number 1 that failed and died immediately at launch. The game had the biggest brand, the biggest budget, and the highest expectations. It was supposed to be the ultimate cross-progression Warzone experience on your phone. But the global launch was an absolute unmitigated disaster. The issues were technical and numerous. Like, the game ran like a PowerPoint presentation on all the newest, highest-end devices. Phones overheated so badly you could practically cook an egg on them. The graphics looked objectively worse than its older brother, COD Mobile. Also, at post-launch, players complained about an overabundance of boring bots, making the multiplayer feel empty and isolating. For a massive IP like Call of Duty, launching a game that was completely unoptimized for the vast majority of the mobile market was an unforgivable sin. Players immediately went back to COD Mobile or PUBG Mobile, and Warzone Mobile's reputation was permanently tarnished. The game is technically still running, but the disaster's launch means it's considered a zombie by the community, limping alone with a tiny, frustrated player base. And yes, Activision announced that Call of Duty Warzone Mobile is shutting down after just over a year of operation, with new downloads being removed from app stores as of May 18, 2025. So there you have it, 10 fantastic ideas, huge budgets and beloved IPs that got absolutely annihilated at launch. Whether it was bad optimization, generic design or just straight up financial collapse, the mobile gaming market shows no mercy. Which of these failures hurt you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see a video on the opposite of this, like 10 mobile games that were huge hits at launch, then hit that like button and let me know. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the good, the bad and the completely unoptimized world of gaming. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.